Week 8's in the books. We got to break it down.
Comes down to one last play, and it's going to be getting longer by the second. We're all the way back at the 30-yard line. Now you can step into it. Here comes the Hail Mary, but the game on the line, and the ball is caught! Caught! It's a miracle!
I mean, how else are we going to start off this episode? We got to start talking off with, like, Caleb Williams, the Commanders. This game was just incredible. Came down to the final seconds.
Dude, I was watching that game with my wife and my kid, and I was just like, that didn't just happen. There's no way that just happened. And the worst part about it was Stevenson, the quarterback, taunting the fans as the play was happening.
The guy that tips the ball backwards to the receiver.
I know.
So unreal. I really couldn't believe it. Welcome in, folks. This is Too Much Fantasy Football here on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. It's Brian, it's Brennan. We're here to talk about all the Week 8 madness. Well, everything but the Monday night. But, of course, you know that. You haven't seen the game yet either. Jumping back into it. I thought the Commanders had a great hold on the game for most of it. You know, there at the very end, the Bears kind of got back in front, and this is like playoff worthy, like, you know, into the game, final moments, just amazing. Like Aaron Rod, like I don't think I've seen like Hail Mary since like him, you know, and the Fail Mary that we had so long ago. But like just so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, though, like for the game from this standpoint, though, it's kind of like a doozy. It was really defensive minded, and like, you know, the Bears, you know, Shane Waldron got really cute with like I think the offensive lineman trying to carry the ball into the end zone, like. That was just that was really interesting. I mean, for the most part, like this is a really good defensive game. Both head coaches are defensive guys, so like obviously they came in with a game plan. Like I wouldn't say either quarterback. Like I mean, Caleb played awful for 45 minutes of this game. Yeah, 45 minutes of this game. Had a good fourth quarter. Jaden, you know, for the most part, he looked like he was playing hurt. I mean, I don't know. I mean. If you started Jaden Daniels, that last play probably saved you for all of fantasy. So
yeah, finishes up with 21 for 38, 326 through the air, a touchdown, then 8 carries for 52 yards. Compared to Caleb Williams 10 for 24. It's Anthony Richardson status there.
Yeah.
Not quite that bad. I'll give you that, folks. But it's. Commanders, they look for real. They look like they could be taking control of this division. You know, Eagles are right behind them, but my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I see the Commanders as the leading of the NFC East, right? The East.
Yeah, East.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Next one we have the Bengals. Are they done? Like they got a romping 37-17 by the Eagles. Joe Burrow, 234 yards. Jamar Chase, of course, had 9 catches on 11 targets, only 54 yards. It's wild.
I mean, the Eagles' defense is starting to kind of click now with Fangio's defense, so I'll give them that.
For sure.
I mean, they definitely missed T. Higgins in this game. They look lost without him for some. It was really weird to say that, but I mean, are the Bengals? They're 2-6, 3-5? What are they?
3-5.
I mean, they still could make a run. It's just really tough with their division because, like, obviously the Browns now have Jameson Winston. They look pretty good because they just beat the Ravens. Like, I don't know what to make of this, but like, I think that they'll be really fighting for like 9-10 wins at the most. Their schedule gets pretty rough.
So I feel like I've been pretty open about. I'm just not a fan of Zach. I'm not a fan of either one of these head coaches, if we're being honest. But Zach Taylor, how many times do they miss the playoffs before he gets fired? Because his successor, Marvin Lewis, was there forever. You talk about like the model of mediocrity. That man was there way too long. So like, is Zach Taylor just going to hold back Joe Burrow's career?
I don't know, and it's really weird because like there's some good head coaching candidates that are going to come up this season. Like Bobby Slowick's probably going to be a head coaching candidate. Obviously, Ben Johnson will probably leave the Lions finally. And I mean, as a Bengals fan, like you don't want to miss out on one of these guys because obviously I think they could do really, really well with Joe Burrow. Look what they do with the success of where they're at now. So I really don't know. I hope he's fired because I don't know really what he does, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him. It just like I think the talent on that team is what propels them to that like 9-8 or 9 to 10 wins each season. I think he honestly holds them back. Like many head coaches do. Eagles though, 5-2, they're rolling.
Yeah, I mean, it's just delaying Nick Sirianni being fired. He's like, well, let's say they go to the playoffs now and they win one game in the playoffs, then they're going to keep Nick Sirianni. That just sucks for them. Like really, like it just sucks for them in totality of all of this. Like you're keeping Nick if you keep winning.
That's my big issue with the Bears right now is they're despite them losing, they're still I'm at 4-3, so it's a little different. Yeah, 5-2 would have been a lot better
Yeah.
for them, but they need to change out the offensive coordinators. They need to swap them out. They need something different, probably even the head coach too. But it's only delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
All right, it's hard writing this one, but Jets, yeah, they crashed, they burned. This is bad. Like, do they need to start looking to the future and selling off pieces? Like, should Devontae Adams be on the trade block?
I don't know. Like I saw that. It'd be hilarious to see him being traded. But like I don't know if he can be. I'm pretty sure you can. I don't know what the rules are for it, but it'd be hilarious. They're going down with the ship, man. This is it. They are going down. You lose not to just the Patriots, but a Jacoby Brissett led Patriots team. Where like I was like, because when I watched that game, Drake May was like moving the ball really well, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a long day for the Jets.
Yeah.
And then they lose him for a concussion. I'm like, oh, they actually have a chance to come back. And like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, why do they still have Greg Zerline kicking the football? Like, the dude sucks. Like, he's the reason why they're losing
I
games.
don't. Yeah, what this like geriatric thing that they're trying to do and prove it with all these old guys? Like, it's no harm in getting a younger like players here, Roger.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jets are now. I mean, they're tied with several teams, but as of today, if the season ended, they'd get the number 4 overall pick.
I mean,
Like they're doing that bad.
Aaron Rodgers is probably still going to play. I think the contract of the situation, I think he's got guaranteed some serious money. So I don't see him walking away from that. Devontae's guaranteed some serious money. This is going to get really interesting because they're going to have to pay some guys here soon, like Sauce, Brees Hall, so Garrett Wilson. Like it'll be very interesting to see how this team looks coming into the next season. But yeah, I think they should start to move some pieces, like, but they won't though because they feel like they're still in it because Aaron Rodgers' ego is still going to allow it to be that way.
And that's kind of the wild part, just because the Dolphins have had this skid that they've had now, like that door of them making the playoffs, that door maybe closing. The Bengals, who should have been a playoff contending team, are like wavering as well. I mean, you've got teams like Denver at 5-3, so that's something that none of us really saw coming. But I don't think it's completely closed their chances of making the playoffs, but it's slim to none, man. 2-5.
No, they're not
That's
making the
pretty
playoffs. There's
rough.
no way. Their best hope would be like 9-8, and I don't think it gets you in the playoffs.
You don't think they can win 9 straight games, 8 straight games?
No, I saw their schedule. I think I went through it. There was like they're losing like a couple for sure. Like they go to Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. Like I mean, they go to Miami. Like I think it's one of the way. Yeah, their division games. Like they just lost to the Patriots. So like I don't know what
Yeah,
else you want.
they've got Houston, Arizona, Indy, Seattle, Jacksonville, Miami twice. They've got a couple. They've got some winnable ones in there. I think just enough to give him hope, and just enough to make sure that Brees Hall isn't shelved for the year. I think
Yeah,
that's the most important thing we're looking at right
I
now.
don't think any of their fantasy aspects are going to get shelved for the rest of the year. They're still going to play. So I'm not worrying about the fantasy implications of this team not playing. I think they're all going to play to the end.
Oh God, I hope so. I'm nervous. Alrighty, we've got to talk about it, folks.
I don't
Indy.
want to.
I don't want to either, and okay, you just want to skip it? We can hear. Let me move this timer a little slower so I go faster. Yeah, folks, it was a fun game up until the very end. Like honestly, I thought the Colts won with that defensive. I'll stand by it. I don't think Mixon touched him when
I don't think so
Deo
either. That's really
had.
weird. Yeah, I don't think he threw him to the ground. There's no way you're going to tell me that Mixon was fumbling and then somehow threw him to the ground at the same time.
I don't think
Regardless,
he had
though,
possession
like
of the ball when he touched him. Like come on.
yeah,
But
but regardless, though, like Anthony Richardson, I will. We'll start with like some positives. Like I don't think the receivers are helping him out though in any way. Like Pittman had a few drops. Mallory had a wide open drop. Alec Pierce had a drop at the end. Like, it was really weird. But, like, he's also just first play, deep bomb, incompletion. Second play, run it up the gut, get stuff. Third play, it's just like it's getting too scripted to the point where it's like it also kind of falls on Shane's shoulders too.
Oh yeah, that interception at halftime that's all on the coach. Why on a 3rd and 6 when you're inside of your own like 20 or 30 are you throwing it? No, you've got less than a minute left. You're not going to convert. Run the ball, get the clock out of there because they were tied up at that point.
Yeah,
Absolutely no reason that interception should have happened. I mean that was on the coach, but he was 10 for 32, 175 yards, a touchdown, interception, 6 carries for 45 yards. I saw a compilation video of like 10 drops. A lot of them were very good passes defended, so I will kind of lean into like the Texans played well, against the pass, but there's a lot more balls that should have been caught than not in that game for sure.
yeah. I mean, I think Anthony Richardson at this point you can kind of drop him. I don't think there's any point of holding on to it. He hasn't looked good. There's nothing else to show for that. Shane Steichen was asked today about Sunday Night Football. Is Anthony Richardson going to start? And he said, all options are on the table, was his response. And Shane's a pretty straightforward coach with his answers. He's usually like, yeah, he's going to start. So this is pretty telling of what's going on there.
Which I don't understand. All you're doing is screwing with the kid's head. Like, unless you're just done with him, which I understand that. But, like, if you have any idea of going back to him, why go to Flacco? Like, I guess we have a chance to make the playoffs. Could have been in the division lead had we won that game, so I guess I understand some of that. But
yeah,
I don't think his job should be in jeopardy to the point where he needs to make a decision based on his job and not the future of the franchise.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, like, he's been so raw, like, oh, he needs to play. Well, now we've seen him play, and maybe now he needs to sit for a little bit. Like, I get that aspect too, but, like, it's not looking good.
He sat all last season. Like, I know
that's what I did too. I was like, well, he sat all last season, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just needs to sit a little longer. Like, Jordan Love sat for 3 years, so.
That is true. He is like the youngest starting quarterback week 1 this season, so I don't know.
Yeah.
This is two Colts fans, folks. You're not going to get anything concrete from us except just emotions.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some top quarterbacks this week. Jalen Hurts rounds out the number 1 spot again. This is before Monday, so worst he could be is probably 3.
Because Russell Wilson's going to take that spot clearly.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. And I mean, Danny Penny's out there. Who knows what he's going to have. Jalen Hurts, though, 236 yards through the air, 1 passing touchdown, and 3 rushing touchdowns. No, that's not swapped, folks. 3 on the ground, 1 through the air. Unreal.
Yeah. I mean, when they get down to the 1, like, it's inevitable. Like, Saquon, I think, got stopped twice with the 1.
Twice!
And it's
my
just
brother
like,
was screaming right next to me.
Oh, man. I don't own much Saquon stock, so, like, I mean, I don't really care, but it's just hilarious. It's like, well, sorry, Saquon, you're not going to touch the rock. It's just going to go straight to Jalen.
Right. Shouldn't have gone down to the 1.
Yeah, idiot.
Bo Nix coming out at number 2, 284 yards through the air, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Are we seeing Bo Nix develop into a competent quarterback in front of our eyes? He's got, 7 touchdowns in the last 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, like, his schedule's been pretty feasible too for him. Like, it's like he's had a pretty nice schedule for him. So I'll be very curious, like, when he starts to play like the Chargers. He already played them once, like the Chiefs. A couple
Chiefs
more,
in
like
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. What's his schedule looking
his
like?
last game of the season is the Chiefs, so we don't have to worry about it for fantasy.
Oh
playoffs.
yeah. Well, some people play Week 18 playoffs with that on their own, but
they better not listen to this show.
Yeah.
We'll ridicule you. Week 18, we'll give you advice, but we're going to make fun of you. Bad.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, he had another game against Tampa. These seem to just be inevitable at this point. Kind of hope to play in the playoffs. Matthew Stafford on Thursday had a hell of a night. And then Jameis Winston. Like, let's go, J-Mo. Let's go, J-Mo. Like,
dude, it's so crazy, like, how well the Browns look without Deshaun Watson every single time. Like, that contract's so bad. That
7 of 8
is
games.
so bad.
7 of 8 games without Deshaun Watson, whether it be Jameis or Flacco, have been 300-yard games passing. Deshaun Watson hasn't had one since January of 2021.
That's so bad, man.
Or 2022, I'm sorry.
Last question for that. Does he start next season? Or no, I mean, like, when he's healthy, does he come back and is he starting?
I mean, there's a chance. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for him to get that opportunity next year.
Oh man, I really hope Jameis takes this team to the playoffs now.
Flacco did it last year, and they didn't
I
even offer
know.
him to come back. Like,
It's so
freaking,
crazy.
what in the world, man? All right, let's talk about some running backs here. James Cook leads the day, 111 yards rushing, 22 through the air, 2 rushing touchdowns. Finishes at the number 1 spot. What happened to Ray Davis, man?
I mean, it was a nice fill-in. I mean, James Cook's always he was going to be the lead back of this team. There's nothing. I thought Ray Davis might lead in a little bit of some carries, but clearly it's just James Cook's backfield. So
Josh Jacobs looks like he's going to be the guy for a bit. Jordan Love had a groin issue. Looks like he could be out for this coming week. And
it wasn't serious, though, is what they reported. It's not serious, so we don't know the extent of it, though.
Yeah, I've heard it's week 9 is in jeopardy, but it is considered like very minor. So if we get Malik Willis again, those games were great for.
You mean the king of the AFC South, Malik Willis?
He is undefeated so far this year in games he's played. So let's go Malik.
Titans are probably dude. The Titans are just like, what the fuck,
right? Oh man, they play Detroit this next week, so that'll be interesting. That's
not great for Green Bay.
Could you imagine if I'm sprinkling some money on Green Bay just
no, you can't do that. That's just dumb. Look what they did to Tennessee. No way.
Give me some chaos.
Yeah.
Devon Achane, he's back to normal, folks. We got 97 on the ground, 50 through the air, and then a receiving touchdown.
This is what you drafted Devon Achane because of Tua being healthy. So like everyone that held on, kudos to you as one of those. Myself, Tyreek, obviously. I mean, he's clearly going to be the breadwinner of this whole entire team. So,
Ramondre Stevenson, it was insanely unproductive. 48 rushing yards on 20 attempts. But old boy got in the end zone twice.
Yeah, twice. Yeah, it's not unproductive when you score 2 touchdowns. I don't care what you are. That's productive to me. But yeah, no, he was definitely not good carrying the football. But he found the end zone, so that's all that matters.
Joe Mixon has been absolutely lights out in games that he's played this season. I believe every game has been top 6 or higher. It's been unreal. Kyron Jameer. DeAndre Swift. Can we get him the hell out of here? Like, what is going on?
Dude, I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. All of a sudden efficiencies it blows my mind. Blows my mind. Let's talk the wideouts. All right. These numbers have been bad. I mean, I know number 1 CD, he was great last night. Absolutely showed out 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, 13 catches. But I feel like the overall numbers of wide receivers have been way lower than I've wanted them to be this year.
They have been, yeah. There's not been like very, very consistent. There's no like dominant. I feel like there's like, who's the dominant one right now? Is it Jamar technically?
I think, yeah, he is far and away, but I think it's also because CD's had his bye.
Yeah.
It's been bad. Over the last 3 weeks, we've averaged 1.3 wide receivers over 25 points a game. First 5 weeks, it was 4.8. But then even going back several years, it's 5.5, 4.8, 5.1. So we're down this year, folks. It's ugly. Ladd McConkey pulled in 2 touchdowns, 6 catches, 111
I
yards.
lost because someone started Ladd McConkey against me, dude. It was so brutal. Like, I saw that, and I was like, oh, touchdown. I'm like, a second one? Well, that's a loss for me.
His first one was great, too. Watching him streak across the field. You got a block in front of him to make sure he got in the end zone.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Cedric Tillman, what are we doing here, man? This is an interesting one. We talked about the speculative ad as far as going into those weeks.
Great pickup for those who got him, but I don't know if they started him. But if you started him, you are so stoked.
I started him in a couple dynasty leagues because I'm that bad off. But I'm 7
not bad off anymore.
Yards, 2 touchdowns. Woo.
Now let's see him repeat it because the Ravens' defense is bad.
Yeah, this is true. The nice thing is, alongside of that, he's had a target share of 25% and 22% over the last 2 games without Amari Cooper. So maybe this is the guy to own. And if Jameis Winston can throw 300 yards on a semi-regular basis, we might have some points in Cleveland, folks.
Hey, you got to have noticed Calvin Ridley. I think he led everybody in yards, right? He had like the most yards as receiver.
143 yards.
Yeah,
oh, no.
Man.
CD had 146.
Oh,
Eat that, Calvin. Eat that.
Hey, he's getting his money's worth at $90 million in Tennessee.
Yeah, Calvin did have 15 targets. He got 10 of them for 143 yards. It's the Titans, so of course he didn't get the touchdown. Westbrook Akine, 3 weeks in a row he's had a touchdown.
That's crazy.
I'm so sick of him. Like, congrats, buddy. But, like, I needed to be drafting you, and I wasn't drafting you this summer, so of course you're going to get blamed. And I'm so sorry, folks. You heard it 1,000 times on every broadcast, but it's National Tight End Day. Or it was yesterday, so we got to talk about him.
I mean, shoot. And everyone should have started them in their flex. Like, if you had a tight end, like, on your bench, should have started them because probably got a touchdown.
You know what's sad, though? Could you imagine, like, the Jake Ferguson owner? He finishes tight end 30 this week with 6 catches, 23 yards.
I was like, I think I saw that. I think he was the most, like, disappointing one out of everybody.
Yeah, I think we had 16 total tight end touchdowns yesterday. Absolutely bonkers. Definitely had a tight end.
Sam Laporta caught a touchdown.
He caught 2.
I know.
I get Brock Wright. That was the funny thing is though Brock Wright caught his before Sam Laporta got both of his. Just an unreal day. I guess we didn't talk about Jared Goff and his under 100 yards, but 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, like what did he have? Like 8 passes or something like that for like. It was like 8 for 10, 80 yards, 3 touchdowns, something crazy like that.
Yeah, I think over his last like 4 or 5 games, he's got 12 incompletions and 12 touchdowns.
He's kind of good. I mean, it's still crazy that Mahomes is like the MVP front runner, and he's like, I guess what's crazy to me.
It's bonkers. I'm not gonna lie. I have no words for it. Just Jared Goff, the roller coaster of emotions leading up to the season after the first couple of games where it just wasn't quite. I don't know. Tight end day. These are the guys we need to talk about though, because I want to talk about Kyle Pitts just for a second.
Have your fun.
Good. Yep, I had my fun. We're good. 2 touchdowns. I can't believe he got that second touchdown.
Yeah, second touchdown was impressive.
That was bullshit. He dropped it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, kudos to you for everyone who's owned Kyle. I mean, this year for tight end has just been such a shit show. So, I mean, the fact that you've gotten like semi-consistent play out of him is great. So,
K-Dot, 9 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns, the leading guy. Until Mike Evans comes back, this might
I faced somebody that started him in the flex.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. 168 points put up against me. It was just pee-pee slapped all day long yesterday. I saw
that. Trey McBride, we see at the top. Travis Kelce finally got his touchdown, 90 yards. Tucker Kraft continues to amaze. David Njoku, Sam Laporta, Mark Andrews, all the names we expect to see up at the top, as well as
it was 13 games prior before Travis Kelce's other touchdown. That's how much drought he was in.
That's bad.
That's really bad.
Folks, we got to get out of here. We can't thank you for hanging out with us. It's Brian. It's Brennan. It's Too Much Fantasy Football. Like and subscribe, of course, hanging out with us on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. If you're looking for more of me, it's at @too_much_Brian on X. Otherwise, well, that's usually where you're going to find me. Brennan, what about you? Where are they finding you?
I'm on X at FFAMBMolk, and I'm in the Fantasy Football Advice Network Facebook group page answering all your redraft Dynasty Sit questions.
And if you can't find us there because we're off somewhere else, well, it's probably because we're on the platform. What platform? Oh, the Fantasy Football Advice Network. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's this.
We are here. We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com.